Lawin Media Network,
bringing to you the most relevant content across all platforms.
business, legal, politics, health, lifestyle, and entertainment.
Your source for all the news and updates in the greater Houston community from Texas and all over the world.
Get informed and empowered with Lawin Media Network.
Good morning. I'm Chanel Raimondo. Welcome to Celebrating Women Inspiring Change 2026. This is our Philippine American Chamber of Commerce Texas way of celebrating Women's History Month. Thank you for joining us from the Philippines and throughout Texas. I'm Chanel Raimondo. I am the Celebrating Women Inspiring Change Chair, as well as the Philippine American Chamber of Commerce Greater San Antonio Region Chair. Thank you for joining us today. Today, we will take you on a journey from classroom to C-suite, listening to women leaders sharing their story to how they made it to the top. Before we get started, we'll have an invocation today, starting from Pastor Joseph Ramientos.
Good morning, everyone, and let us pray. Father God in heaven, we thank you for a beautiful day such as this. A day that you would remind us of who we are, what we have, where we came from, and that is from you, the author and the finisher, not only of life, but of everything. We thank you that today we are able to celebrate the wonders that you do through the women around us. As we celebrate them, may you open our hearts and our minds to accept them all the more for the many good things that they have done, that they will be doing, and will continue to do, all for your glory and your honor. We commit to you every speakers that we have. Speak through them, and may we receive your words from them. We commit everything into your hands, and we pray this in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Ramientos. We'll have opening remarks from our PATC State President, Attorney Eileen Ligot Dizon.
Good morning to all. As the Philippine American Chamber of Commerce of Texas President, it is an honor to welcome you to our statewide chamber celebration of women whose courage, creativity, and commitment move our communities and our business forward. Today, we gather not only to recognize achievement, but to affirm a belief that when women lead with courage, compassion, and clarity, the entire communities rise, voices multiply, and possibilities widen. We all carry stories of persistence, of starts and stops, of taking risks, of making space where none seemed to exist. Those stories matter because they become the maps for others who follow. Whether you are a founder launching your first venture, a manager opening pathways for your team, a student preparing for a career, or a volunteer giving back to your community, your efforts expand what's possible for the next generation. The men in our chamber and the community stand beside us as allies, amplifying our voices, sharing responsibility, and working together for equal opportunity and strong, inclusive leadership. Change is not a single moment, it is a series of choices. Each time we mentor, invest, hire, or amplify a voice, we make a choice for inclusion and for opportunity. Our chamber, PACC Texas, exists to create those choices, to connect capital with vision, to translate policy into possibility, and to make sure Filipino American entrepreneurs and professionals are visible at every table where decisions are made. Today, I ask each of you to leave with two commitments. Just two. First, to lift at least one person higher than you found them. Through what? Mentorship, sponsorship, or a simple introduction. And second, to bring one new idea back to our community that accelerates equity and growth. Thank you to our members, our partners, our sponsors, and everyone who shows up to support each other. Thank you to the women who came before us and cleared paths. We stand on your shoulders and carry your legacy forward. So let us celebrate boldly, act intentionally, and continue building a future where every woman has a chance to lead. Mabuhay and enjoy the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Eileen. Now we'll have a message from our region chairs, starting from Greater Austin.
Refresh your screen. Hi, good morning, everyone. Joyce Garcia. I serve as the region chair for the Austin area, and I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much.
I'm Chanel Raimondo, region chair for Greater San Antonio. I'm excited to be here to highlight women in C-suite roles and to celebrate together with all of you.
Hello, good morning, everyone, and mabuhay from Rio Grande Valley. I am quite so excited. On behalf of the Rio Grande Valley, we are blessed to witness the celebration today, and we're excited to hear from different amazing speakers, and we're looking forward also for our second half of our celebration here in the RGV. Well, thank you so much, and again, mabuhay.
Good morning, everyone. Shouting out from Houston, Texas. We're so happy to be here celebrating women, inspiring change. Hello, Sister Regent. Thank you for celebrating with us. Yeah.
Yeah, good morning. From Dallas-Fort Worth, welcome to Dallas-Fort Worth, and we're excited, looking forward to more of the get-togethers going on. Anyway, welcome and get to see you soon, all of you soon. Look forward to the speakers. See y'all.
Thank you so much to our region chairs. Our next speaker is our keynote speaker. Ms. Lynn Lourdes Lucena is a distinguished Filipino neurosurgeon and expert in neurotrauma and neurocritical care with over 30 years of professional experience. She is a diplomat of the Philippine Board of Neurological Surgeons and a fellow of both the Academy of Filipino Neurosurgeons, Inc. and the Philippine College of Surgeons. She has served in key leadership and academic roles, including chair of neurosurgery at Bicol Regional Hospital and Medical Center and professor in neurosurgical education. She has been extensively involved as a speaker and lecturer at national and international neurosurgical conferences and has contributed to neurotrauma advocacy and training programs. Her current leadership roles include Chair, Neurotrauma Committee, Asian Australasian Society of Neurological Surgeons, Founding President, Neurotrauma Society of the Philippines, Vice President, Academy of the Filipino Neurosurgeons, Inc., President, University of the Philippines, Philippine General Hospital, Faculty and Alumni of the Neurosciences, and Chair, Neurosurgery Section at Bicol Regional Hospital and Medical Center. Her key awards and honors include the Outstanding Filipino Awardee, recognized nationally for excellence and service in her field, Golden Scalpel Award for Neurosurgery, honored for her outstanding contributions to neurosurgery, particularly in the Bicol region, Visiting International Surgeon Award from the American Association of Neurological Surgeons for contributions to women in neurosurgery, International Scholarship recipient from the Turkish Neurosurgical Society and World Federation of Neurosurgical Societies, and recognized as a notable Filipino leader in health and medicine by the most influential Filipino women in the world list. Dr. Lucena is also an author and poet, blending her medical insights with literary expression. Help me welcome Ms. Dr. Lynn Lucena.
So, good morning, everyone. And it's almost 12 midnight here in the Philippines. But then again, I'm happy to be with all of you. And I would like to thank the Philippine American Chamber of Commerce for the invitation. And I think the slides, yeah, okay. Thank you so much. So I already emailed my slides so that I may have some difficulty with the projection. So since the topic is from classroom to C-suite, I added the title, Women Leading the Change Towards a Sustainable Future. So next slide, please. So I would like to say that these pictures sort of reflect now the status that I am, where I am. Okay, so with the introduction, I am a neurosurgeon, and I have been practicing neurosurgery for almost 35 years since I started in residency. So the first picture actually reflects what I started out as the only neurosurgeon here in the Bicol region. So I had manual tools and I started from scratch. So after that, now we have a modern microscope and tools that are powered tools. So next slide. It didn't happen like that because in the first place, when I was in elementary, I mean from the classroom, during the time that I was studying, yeah, I wanted to be a doctor, but I never thought of being a neurosurgeon. Okay, so it's another story how I became a neurosurgeon in a way that I was convinced by one of the mentors to go into neurosurgery rather than what I wanted at first was thoracic and cardiovascular surgery, because I was going home to the province where there was no one there. Okay, so he said you just buy second-hand tools and then you can already do neurosurgery. How simple was that? So, but this is me when I was in residency. And you would say, now, how does a neurosurgeon talking to us, like my audience, I'm sure of diverse backgrounds, from maybe single women here, we have women with kids, you know, from all walks of life. And I'm sure you guys do multitasking, you know, That's the other picture there. So that's how I have seen a little the parallelism of what I'm doing to what you guys are, you ladies in the audience are doing in your everyday life. Okay, so for example, for me, you picture myself like in an operating room. I would not just be looking at the brain, but my mind would be connecting to the anesthesiologist, to the patient, to the scrub nurse. It's sort of a multitasking thing. That's what I'm doing. But at the same time, you also in my audience, you also know how to do this, especially the mothers. You would, on the kitchen table, you would be talking to your husband and then looking at your son or daughter. Are they preparing already for school, etc.? So that's how it is in multitasking. So those are the things that you learn along the way, not just from the classroom, but later on in life when you're studying, you learn how to do this. Next slide, please. So let me ask you now, at this point in your lives, what is the inspiration that makes you wake up in the morning? So for me, actually, it's here, it's a little bit upside down. So I think the transfer of the slides maybe, but it usually makes me wake up to see your family, to see what's going to happen, especially when I already became a neurosurgeon, to see my patients again. Next slide. So from the classroom to the time that I'm here now, this is me with just the concluded World Federation of Neurosurgery in Dubai and lecturing here with other people. And also when I started neurosurgery, I was the only woman in the room. So then again, you could picture at that time when I was studying that I alone was standing in a room of men, the only lady. So how did I cope with that? So I tried my best to be myself, to also be able to do the things that I have to do in the course of studying and in the course of learning. So what is the goal? The goal is that you do not try to be like the men, but you have to do the best that you can during the time that you are learning or during your work. Okay, so that was always the aim, not to compare yourself with the people surrounding you, but more so to compare yourself with yourself. Okay, so to see that you are better tomorrow, you are better today than yesterday. Okay, next slide, please. So from the operating table to the kitchen table. So I would say that the people who are not in the medical field, you would be more familiar with the kitchen table, especially the ladies. Okay, so from the operating table, what lessons do we have from what I'm doing to the kitchen table? So what I see here is that during the time that I'm in the operating table, I have to judge things right away. So from the time that I open, so I see something, so I already studied that, and at the same time I have to make lightning decisions. That's what we call critical thinking under fire. But you in your everyday life, you also do that. You have to do all the decisions under stress, depending on the thing that you are undergoing now. So what I'm saying is, it's the same. At the kitchen table, you negotiate things, you also make critical decisions, and that's your everyday life. And that is what you call quick decision making also on your part. Okay, so that's what you learn. Next slide, please. So my message to you is that sometimes you just don't look at being a leader as titles. You already hold that in your everyday life. What I'm saying is that every day you decide something. You have to do a lot of decisions that affect the family and yourself. So my message to you, my first message is, you are already leaders in your everyday lives. Leading change is not about titles. It's the decision to move forward when the path is difficult. So a lot of you may be undergoing stress or changes or difficulties in life. And this is not new. It is there every day for everyone. And the decision to move forward, to do something about it, to make a solution, is what makes you a leader, and even during all these times. Next slide. So, shaping the architecture of the future. We somehow now, I don't know, we keep track of the world, and some would see, where's the hope? Where's the future? With all these things that's happening. But daily, I know we all have our own concerns. So we learned when we were still small from our parents, especially from the mothers, that we all know that we should prepare for the future. That is why we studied hard. So that is why we took our responsibilities with a lot of work, okay? And that is shaping the architecture of the future. So for all of you ladies out there, you take a look at what is going around you, but you do not stop. You are not stopping to make decisions and to sort of better your life daily. Okay? So what is shaping the architecture of the future? We just need to also take a look at how we are affecting the communities around us. Meaning sustainable. When I say sustainable future, we want to prepare this for the next generations. Not just our daughters or our sons, but also our apos and maybe great-grandchildren. So when we take a look at our decisions today, we need to make sure that we are shaping the future for the next generation. So what is it? So maybe you take a look at climate change, you make the things that you do in your house sustainable, you are environment friendly, and all those things. Okay, so next slide. So this is my projected, take a look at the picture above. That is what I am envisioning my operating room would look like maybe in the next 3 years. So even among all these things that are happening, this is still my dream, it's still there. And I'm still working towards it. And now take a look at also these farmers somewhere in Africa. And then the ladies here working maybe in a computer or office. And this is me leading my team in an operation. And of course, the housewives. You do not stop even if a lot of things are happening, but you have that hope that things would get better. So meaning the positivity should be cultured within all of us. That is what we should learn, and that is what we should instill into the next generation also. Next slide, please. So my message to you, the mother edge. So what I see is that when a woman shapes a future, she does not just build skyscrapers. She builds a strong foundation that supports everyone. So I lost my mom 2 years ago, but I still remember, the message of my mom is that you have to hold tight to your faith. You have to value your family. You have to value fidelity. You have to have a strong fiber. So in Tagalog, dapat malakas ang pananalig, mahalin ng maayos ang pamilya at matatag. Ang paninindigan should not be shaken, and also build the character or pagkatao. So when I say mother, quote unquote, those who are single does not need to have to be a biological mother. You can mother or mentor some other people. Like for example, if you're a teacher, you can be mother to your students. I'm proud to say that during the course of my years that I have been teaching my residents, I am now a mother, quote unquote, of 4 neurosurgeons whom I encouraged during the time that they were training under me, and they now took up also neurosurgery and are full-fledged neurosurgeons. Next slide, please. So leading the change. When I say leading the change, I liken it to having 3 incisions because I'm a neurosurgeon, so I'm relating it to also to my career. So when you say precision incision in life, you lead by being precise about what needs to change. So meaning daily, you see, okay, these are the list of bills that I have to pay. Okay, my son or my daughter has to do the assignments now. I have to attend this meeting, blah, blah, blah. So meaning you focus on the things that needs to be done, but at the same time, you do the best that you can in any other work or job that you have to do. So what I say is multitasking. But then again, you have to break glass ceilings. Sometimes you have to push boundaries within the limits of what you are doing best. And you need to speak up. You need to learn to improve. You never settle for less. And you have to have that culture of excellence. How can you have that? You have to learn from your mistakes. That's from the very first thing that we have learned actually when we were in the classrooms. In the classrooms, we commit mistakes. And that is okay, you know. And those are the times that we have to learn from our mistakes. And even until now, that kind of lesson that we learned how to accept our mistakes and how to rise up from failures stem from the time that we were still in maybe start of our elementary years up to now. Okay, next slide, please. So building the network and connections. Remove the tumors. The second one. Remove the tumors of self-doubt, the imposter syndrome. So women, when we stand in the room, sometimes we get this, the confidence, the lack of confidence, and the insecurity that you will tell yourself that, no, I'm not capable of it. That's the imposter syndrome. And even if you have the talent, you minimize it and say, no, I cannot speak up because I think I'm going to commit mistakes. I'm going to fail. But let me tell you, everyone is unique. You possess a talent. You have to own it. Your lived experience is already a PhD in problem solving. And as I said, failures are stepping stones. So with that, I have, I did do mistakes. And of course, in neurosurgery, mistakes can be fatal and can lead, of course, to demise of the patient. And those are the things that are actually in my brain. And of course, I had to rise up beyond it. So with that, you have to push. I had to push myself to move forward so that I learn from these mistakes and I would improve and be able to take better care of my patients in the next, the following cases. So let me tell you, for the last almost 30 years, I just worked, and took care of my patients. And just last year, 2024, I was recognized as the Outstanding Filipino by the JCI Senate. So I told myself when I first received this award, okay. So thank you, Lord, actually, because of this award. But again, what was the impact to me? I have to live sort of to this award now. Okay, what I mean is that getting an award, you should not pat yourself on the back and say, yeah, I achieved all these things. But now you have the responsibility to carry on the work that they may have recognized in you and to live up to that expectation. So the standards, you have to give that high standards again in your work, etc. Next slide. So building the network, the third incision is build the network. Whenever I go inside the brain, I have to take note what areas I have to, for example, the tumor I have to take out. But then I have to also think of how it will affect the surrounding brain. So that's why we never would want to go through normal brain because that may destroy the connections. So what I'm saying is that whenever I do operations, I think of how the patient can recover. I do not just want to make my patient live, but I want a functional patient. I want my patient to be back almost to normal, even if at times it cannot be achieved anymore. The best functional capacity. So what I'm telling to relate this now is building the network and connections. When you in your lives, you cannot just work alone also. You need to recognize the support of your family, your friends. So you have to make this thing sustainable. What I mean is the sustainability of all these connections will happen if you build communities. You have to lift each other so that you can create a permanent shift in the system. So whenever we take a look, sometimes we women can also destroy ourselves. You know why? Envy. So that's actually a very big fault. Whenever we take a look, that's also what happens if you keep on comparing yourselves with others. Like for example, you take a look at your neighbor and say, oh, she's got a new car or something like that. And then if the green-eyed monster of jealousy suddenly takes over you, then you will make sort of a different story and blah blah blah. So what I'm saying is that you make marites and chismis, etc., and that can destroy not just your neighbor but also you, because whatever you say can come back to you. So what I'm saying is that take out all this negativity, and you have to lift each other up so that you can be able to sustain all these connections and also be able to help others. And in a way, all these things will come back for the good in the future. So what I'm saying is, the legacy now, you have next slide. What we have to do, we have to have generational impact and a sustainable self. So why are we actually in this world? Do you already know the answer? Have you asked yourself? So why are we here? We are here as a woman, whether you're single or married, a biological mother, or a mentor, or a mother, quote unquote. You are actually here because you are raising the next generation of scientists, artists, and yes, neurosurgeons in a way. To those who will have doctors, maybe your son or daughter would like to become a neurosurgeon. So what I'm saying is, you should also take care of yourself. So the lesson here is that you need to maintain the instrument. Who's the instrument? It's you. That's your mission. You take a look at your son or your daughter. That's your mission. You have to raise your kids to have a better future. Okay, next slide, please. So this is my call to action to you. We need to have a world shaped by the empathy and grit of women. You do not wait for the permission to lead. You are the heartbeat of the community. You are already the CEO of your family, the head of the household. So let us go and shape a sustainable future for the next generation. Next slide, please. Thank you so much for your kind attention.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lucena. That was so inspirational. Let's give Miss Dr. Lucena a round of applause for me sharing her story and for inspiring us today. Next up, we have our speakers that will be here live in San Antonio, Texas. Let me introduce our speakers for today. Miss Janie Gonzalez is a visionary leader, technologist, and builder of scalable economic opportunity. They built the systems, she rebuilt the mission. Janie M. Gonzalez is a nationally recognized entrepreneur, technology executive, and builder of scalable economic opportunity with more than 30 years of leadership across business, technology, and public service. She is the founder and CEO of Webhead, a Texas-based technology solutions firm specializing in resilient, intelligent digital systems, celebrating over 30 years of impact and supporting mission-driven organizations across the public and private sectors. Janie's leadership journey from the classroom to the C-suite has been shaped by lived experience, operational rigor, and a deep understanding of how systems determine who gets access, who gets to scale, and who gets left behind. At Webhead, she leads teams focused on long-term value creation, helping organizations modernize technology while strengthening workforces, expanding across the markets, and driving sustainable economic outcomes. Webhead's approach, engineering the edge, reflects Janie's leadership philosophy. It means building systems that are resilient, intelligent, and designed to evolve across cloud infrastructure, data ecosystems, and digital experience. This approach enables organizations to adapt to change without losing mission, performance, or trust. Beyond entrepreneurship, Janie is widely respected for her systems-level leadership centered on economic mobility and business growth. Her work focuses on expanding access to executive leadership, decision-making authority, and procurement opportunities, particularly for businesses seeking pathways to sustainable scale. This commitment aligns closely with organizations dedicated to entrepreneurship, professional advancement, and cross-cultural economic engagement. Janie's public service includes serving as board of CPS Energy, the nation's largest community-owned electric and gas utility. During her tenure, she helped guide digital modernization initiatives, supported clean technology adoption, strengthened governance, and advanced contract strategies that expand participation by locally owned businesses, driving long-term community and economic impact. As emerging technologies, particularly artificial intelligence and quantum computing, reshaping industries and economic systems, Janie remains focused on ensuring organizations and leaders are prepared to lead through change. Janie's thought leadership and work have been featured in Hispanic executive medium and leading business journals. A frequent speaker and advisor, she is passionate about sharing real-world insights with the next generation of leaders navigating their own journeys from the classroom to the C-suite. Our next speaker is Dr. Danette Bloom. Dr. Maria Danette Lapis Bloom is a professor and the director of international programs at the UT Health San Antonio School of Nursing. She is a highly recognized nurse, scientist, and educator, specializing in neurobiological mechanisms of stress and post-traumatic stress disorder. Professional roles and expertise. She serves as a tenured full professor and leads international initiatives as the director of international programs. Her work explores biobehavioral markers for PTSD and the effects of stress on mental health, particularly among vulnerable populations and military personnel. Originally from the Philippines, she founded the Center for Filipino American Health and the Filipino American Patient Center Outcomes Research Network. In 2025, she was inducted into the San Antonio Women's Hall of Fame for her contributions to higher education and community health. Dr. Bloom is a lifelong learner who has earned degrees across 4 different continents, from UT Health San Antonio, her PhD from University of Nottingham, England, Master of Science in Clinical Investigation from UT Health San Antonio, completed nursing in the Philippines, and neuroscience from Australia. She's also one of the past region chairs for the Philippine American Chamber of Commerce Greater San Antonio, and is also a board member. Our other panelist, Dr. Adriana Rocha Garcia, could not make it today, but we also have our moderator, Miss Nicolette. Nicolette may not be a native Texan, but she officially became a proud Texan in 2012. Originally from the New York, New Jersey area, San Antonio became her home alongside her partner, Alejandro. She graduated from New Jersey's Seton Hall University with her BS in International Relations and Diplomacy with a minor in French. A daughter of Filipino immigrants, Nicolette is an activist, organizer, and advocate for the San Antonio and Texan community. Fueled by progress and commitment to community, Nicolette is the programs manager for Asian Texans for Justice and Asian Texans for Action Fund. And she is starting her own political consulting firm with the help of PACC GSA. She currently serves as the vice chair of the Philippine American Chamber of Commerce, Greater San Antonio, and the secretary for the Asian American Alliance of San Antonio, the umbrella organization that unites and promotes Asian American organizations in San Antonio, and additionally serves on many Democratic Party leadership roles in San Antonio and statewide. Nicolette is thrilled to amplify Asian American Pacific Islander voices alongside many other community advocates and leaders who care about making a difference for the AAPI Texan community. Help me welcome our speakers and moderator. Making a difference for the AAPI Texan community. Help me welcome and moderator.
All right, good morning, San Antonio! And to all our folks who unfortunately aren't in the best city in Texas, and to you too. Thank you again for joining us, and happy Women's History Month! Yes! We are so honored to be here, not only in person, but also virtually, to share not only wealths of information and knowledge from our amazing speakers this morning, but also to share in the glory of, again, we are celebrating women inspiring change. And what that means to all of us can look different, but I hope that this is an opportunity for you not only to learn, but to think about the women in your life. How can you continue to empower them and uplift them, and to continue taking care of our entire community? All right. All right, as you heard from Chanel talking about our amazing speakers that we have this morning, I want to highlight a moment again why we're here in the first place. It is, of course, because of the Philippine American Chamber of Commerce. And really, what is our mission? Our mission is to inspire the spirit of entrepreneurship among Filipinos, Filipino Americans, and their friends to promote the growth of business and professions and to be of service to our communities. That is the number one thing that I think of being so proud to be born Filipino, is that I get to be a part of this amazing community and we get to take care of one another. So as we go into our conversation today, again, think of those notes as ways to think, how can I use this to better myself? And how do I use this to better my community? So our first question, So our first question really lines up about our skills, strengths, and leadership style. So for our speakers, which skills from your education translated most powerfully into executive leadership? And remember, when you think of education, it could be education in the classroom, education, on the job, education in community with one another. Really, what helped translate that most powerfully for each of you? And I'd love to start with Ms. Jeannie.
I think that, first of all, you have great energy. I wish I had that energy at 21 or even at current age. So thank you for the invitation. It's really an honor to be here with you this morning. So I want to have the women here in the audience give yourself a shout out and clap for yourself, because it demonstrates who you are and your commitment for the chamber. And so the question I was asked, what skill sets? I think there's natural skill sets that you're born with, they're innate, and then there's other skills that you learn. I think for me, the natural skill set was that of curiosity, observation, seeing the world very differently. I think that was a skill set that maybe when I was young, I felt, or I was perceived as something was wrong with me, but ultimately it was curiosity that really has helped me be where I'm at today. On the technical side, I think, again, technology, obviously that's my background, but strategic thinking goes back to curiosity. as a little child, you may not label it as strategic thinking, but the curiosity leads to being able to view the world and view situations and be able to observe people, places, and situations and say, there's a problem that needs to be solved. There's a solution that needs to be applied. There's a way that we can make this, engineer a way out of this. And so those to me, regardless of what state of business I've been, whatever cycle I've been, and whatever state in life I've been, have really helped me overcome, create opportunities, and lead others to engineering success in their personal lives, careers, or a community.
Thank you so much, Nicolette, for that question, and happy Women's Month to everyone! So, in terms of skills, I agree with you, Jamie. Definitely the curiosity. I was also like that, But I think other than that is critical thinking, being able to think things through and see how things could be different, and being able to speak out about it. Because sometimes there's a lot of things happening in our minds, but we don't communicate it to others. So the ability to communicate, I really give a shout out to the Holy Spirit School in Bohol, Tagbilaran City, Bohol, who the nuns gave us this foundation of really being able to speak out, being able to lead, being able to be in front of people and be confident about it. The faith-based education really helped out a lot because we grew up with knowing that each one of us has the right to be here in this world, and each of our voices need to be heard, and so you could speak it out without reservation. So I think those certainly having, as mentioned earlier, I have had degrees in 4 continents, so you can imagine how much of that really needs me to work with people, to be part of the team. And that was made possible because I believed in myself. That was instilled since I was young. I believe I have a voice, and I believe I could speak out the voice to make a difference in everything that I do.
That was wonderful. I'd love to point out though, right? For some of us who grew up very culturally, grew up very Filipino, I will say. A lot of times we don't feel like we can speak up. We feel like our parents want us to do one thing, we want to do another. Have there ever been times in each of your life where you thought, I couldn't speak up, but then you were so glad that you did?
I mean, I had the opposite experience. I don't think I was raised with, you can be anything you want. I was raised in a very patriarchal, traditional Mexican family. So very similar, where men are lifted and a lot of investment in men, where women are expected to just, at least for us, it was house cleaning, yes ma'am, no sir. I was the oldest of 5. So it was really different for me. I've had the opposite experience. I think a lot of my challenges over the years was this complexity of guilt, shame, and yet knowing that you wanted to do so much more in your life, but the whole world around you kept telling you, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong for wanting to go to college. You're wrong for being in a male-dominated industry. You're wrong for doing so many different things. So I really struggled despite how resilient I was, despite how naturally I was designed and engineered really to fight the system. It also hurt and helped, right? So I don't think any of us, I mean, I was raised again, Catholic, Pentecostal, and Baptist. Just think about that. Just think about that dynamic. Talk about guilt. And so, yeah, I think my whole 30 years of experience, and I've been married for 35 years, was this complexity of navigating the world you were raised in, the world that you create for yourself, and then the world that expects you, depending which world you navigate, to be something to everybody. And it can be very, very challenging, and it's complex. And I don't know there's a right solution. I think ultimately you're gonna have to define what that ecosystem looks like. But I don't think as women, we ever stop being conflicted or stop questioning who you are and what the world expects. I'm 53. I still struggle with it. Thank you. I still struggle. I'm not going to deny that I'm not right now at a stage in my life where I'm questioning everything all over again. And it's because what you'll find, and I'm sorry to disappoint, I know we're here to celebrate, but the systems are so difficult for you to scale. Women of color, women in general. And if I was not saying the truth, then the statistics would be very different. Here in the state of Texas, we have no reproductive rights. If you look at the statistics for men versus women in pay, women still don't make the same amount of money. If you look at the statistics of healthcare concerns, women have the highest rates of mental health issues and have the highest rates of suicide and the highest rates of obesity and diabetes. If you look at all the statistics, for all the wonderful things that women contribute, the statistics are not in our favor. So for me, sometimes it's really been very challenging to wake up sometimes in the morning and say, today I will make a difference. And I do. I will not deny that I don't make a difference every day because I'm very intentional in how I operate as a woman, as a mother, as a community leader. But sometimes, frankly, it's just really frustrating that women are the largest population and yet we still have conversations of empowerment. Why, when we already, for centuries, should be having conversations of scalability and celebrating different statistics? And so I don't want to be a Debbie Downer about this because I still believe there's a path forward. But I really believe that we need to have some harder conversations of how do we change those numbers and not just celebrate whenever it's Women's History Week and have a networking event. And then policies and the positions that we hold do not reflect what we need for the next generation of women. And so, I agree. I don't think all of us enter the workforce or enter education backgrounds or enter marriages at the same level. And we have to be honest about that. And that is why we have to be very intentional in how we lift others. The earlier speaker talked about removing tumors. She's right, but I saw it very differently. I think we women are comfortable with having tumors. We have been designed by childhood to put up with a lot. And therefore, instead of removing them, we learn how to live with them and they fester and they manifest in unhealthy ways. And so how really do we use radiation and how do we really use the tools that we have to remove those tumors quickly? But we don't do that because we've been in our environments. 80% of who we are shapes how we project to the world, how we operate. Can you imagine if our parents, instead of telling us when we were little, you're so strong, you got this. But what if our parents told us at a young age, you don't have to be strong. You know what you need to do? You need to make a decision today that puts you in a better position to succeed. Not to tell me as a little girl, take care of your brothers and sisters, make sure you also fund me as a child, to fund our parent. And on top of all of that, make sure that God is number one in your life because you need to still be a good girl, a good woman. And yet, our brothers were told, do what it takes to succeed, right? Get rid of those tumors right away. So I think that's an area where we still need to work as a culture, society, and as professional women.
So I grew up in a slightly different or maybe very different environment because my mom was like one of 13 and there were only 2 boys and they were very strong women. So I grew up with always hi mom, if you're listening. And what I remember is that there's always a place on top. That's what all of us were always, there's always a place on top. And so you can do whatever you want, while a lot of our neighbors were letting us, oh, when are you gonna get married? And so on and so forth. My mom was saying no, do it, go see the world, fly as much as possible, and so on and so forth. So there was really not that putting down, it's more like do the best that you can. So I have to reflect that my family was probably not a very common family, Filipino family, because there was no restrictions in terms of the societal expectations of, you finish your degree, you have to be like, you have to be married, you have to say that you have to have like kids at this time and so on and so forth. Her thing was like, go find yourself, fly the world, in which I followed. I did follow instructions. So, but I think it does make a lot of difference. And what you were saying is really very true. Like, the things that we have fought a lot to be where we are right now, it seems to be stripped from us. And the sad thing that I'm seeing is that a lot of us, both men and women, are really letting that happen. Why are we letting that happen? And I think it goes back to this thing, like, we have to be able to think critically. I know our community is diverse and we have different thoughts, we belong in different groups, but sometimes those belonging in different groups, for example, political groups, clouds how you view things. Your schema of how you view the world really skews it, where you just think groupthink rather than critically thinking of what is good, what is right, and what we have been fighting for in terms of women's rights and choices. So I think back in my mind and being able to speak out, like how many of us look at election statistics, how many of us actually go out and vote? How many of the women actually go out and vote? But we have to have our voices heard so that we can change things. And one of the learnings, I think you may come that later, is that you have to sit in boards. You have to step out and be there, be seen, because if you are not in boards, you will be in the menu. And women has been doing that. Unfortunately, very few are stepping up. And what's happening? We are in the menu. We are stripped of some of the things that we have just kind of forgotten or like taken for granted. So we have to be very, very mindful of that. The other aspect, and you've mentioned it as well, is like women putting other women down. And I think Dr. Lucina also said that, and I've observed that a lot. We have to support each other. And if needed, we have to correct each other. Support is not saying something, just everything nice, even if you think the person is doing wrong. You have to provide that feedback in order that that person grows.
Well said. That was wonderful. That actually leads us into our next question. So we're talking a little bit about barriers or biases and breaking through that. What systemic changes would make the biggest difference for women aspiring to senior leadership or leadership in general? Just as you mentioned, if we're not not at the table, we're on the menu.
I'll build upon that. So she talks about board leadership, right? So I've served on an array of different boards. And so I have extensive experience on board leadership. So here's what you're seeing right now in San Antonio. How many council women are in San Antonio right now? Majority, right? What is the trend across? She talked about trends. What is the trend right now you see? Women everywhere. I think it's great. Someone who has a lot more tenure, because I started at 21, being invited to participate in boards. A lot of it was not a Hispanic, not a woman of color, and there was pressure. So let's put Janie there. A lot of it was, I was credible. At 21, I was extremely credible. I started working at 21. By 24, I was the youngest trustee ever on BIA at the time. I was the first female to represent at CPS Energy as a Latina for the whole area. It took 80 years, I believe, the organization owned by the city of San Antonio for me to become the first Latina to ever lead that area. So these are all great. These are wonderful accomplishments by myself and all the women. But here's what happens. When you're put on a board, a lot of times there's a system behind that. A system decided whether you get put on these boards. These boards are political. CPS is a $2 billion organization. Do you not think that's not political? Boards are political, which means oftentimes you're either chosen because someone said, we need women on the board. Not a bad thing, you got a sponsor. But we're not chosen oftentimes because they say, Janie's a technologist. Janie understands budgets. Janie understands politics. No, Janie was chosen because we gotta appease the community. Council decided. We need to make sure that Janie, is there to check box, and then we'll decide how Janie will participate, yes or no. Because there are people in rooms making those decisions for most of the organizations that we serve on. Just go with it. Now, does it mean that when I know where I stand in a system, do I go into a system blindly? I know exactly how I've been handpicked and exactly why I was chosen. But it does not mean that I'm gonna always follow the system. Your job, whether you like it or not, is to be part of a system, because that's the only way you're gonna make change. We heard the earlier speakers say that. Part of systems design, right? This is why I love the analogy of engineering the edge, is for you to design a feature of a function within a system that generates a result. I cannot change the system overnight, but what I can do is make dents in a system. I can influence. In some of the areas where I encourage women, when you are asked to be on a board or a commission, is to understand the system that you're navigated in, understand how it works, and understand how you're going to influence it. So I've been very deliberate for every board that I've been on. I understand the system that I'm being asked to participate. I understand that I'm not going to be able to change the system overnight. I understand that I may have 2 to 3 years or 10 years in that system. So how do I make a difference? I leverage my background in technology, number one. Number two, I understand policy, and that I know that the only way I'm going to make a difference is policy influence. And number three, I understand economic power. The only way you're going to change the trajectory of your community is when procurement, supply chains are influenced to diversify who wins contracts. Those are the things that I operate in any board that I'm on. Those are the things that matter to me. I don't care to be on a committee for marketing and PR. I don't care to be the treasurer. I do not care to be the secretary of a board, because then you have less influence. I want to be in executive committees. I want to make sure that whenever I'm tapped into any board or any opportunity that I have, that within that system, I'm going to make a difference. And many of you may not have the courage to do that. That was something I developed over time. It's something that comes with wisdom. It's something that comes with experience. My point is that we women cannot just be the majority and be okay in having a title, having a position, and then not understanding how the system works, because then you're just going to be used by the system. And so we have to balance being very critical. I'm a great critical thinker. I matter, when I walk into a room, how the system is designed, how I'm going to be welcome or shut out. I already know. So do I spend my time working or operating in a system with people who are not, that I have to convince? Or do I spend my energy in a system with people I don't need to convince? Like-minded individuals, or we're going to go ahead and unite and make a difference. So you have to choose how you operate within a system, but more importantly, understand the ecosystem that you've been thrusted into and decide at a macro level and at a micro level how you're going to make a difference.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And in my case, I'm often the youngest one as well because of the business education that I am in and healthcare. So I speak my truth, the truth that I think, and I ask questions. And sometimes I see, the other day I actually asked my husband, like, how is it possible that people attend meetings and don't speak or don't ask questions? And I have questions. I think I'm intelligent. I think I'm a critical thinker. But why do others just keep quiet? Why do you keep quiet? If you don't understand anything, raise your hand. What is that about? Or can we do better? So for me, my time is very important. Attending these meetings, I feel like they have to make sense to me and they have to be towards a goal. So speaking my truth, speaking what I think, I believe to be, always, even if I'm with the president, I'm with the COO, it doesn't bother me. I am here. I have the right to be here. I was elected to be here. You chose me to be here because you think my voice counts. That's how I perceive it. So sometimes it's a matter of perception. You are there in the boards that you are in because people elected you, because you wanted to be part of it. So make it count. You cannot just be that number who made the quorum who made the quorum for the meeting. Make your mark. I oftentimes waste our times in these meetings. Make them, as Ms. Janie mentioned, make them count. Look at like what is the goal? What is our goal here? And let us move towards it.
Awesome. So we're actually coming up to our last question, unfortunately. The time went too quick. I think it went way too quick. But the last question that we have for y'all is really looking towards the future. So what does the future of women in leadership really look like? And if you could redesign the leadership pipeline for women right now, what would you change first?
Ooh, it's a loaded question. What is the future for women? It depends, right? It's either going to get worse or better for us. I will tell you, when you look at where we are right now, we're at a critical path. You got AI. I'm going to talk about AI. Changing tremendously. Again, as a technologist, I was an internet pioneer. So I started a company when the internet was in its infant stage, 1994. So when I look at where we are today, and I think about how AI is influencing communities, whether it's a data center, whether it's how we approach healthcare, or how we approach entrepreneurship, we need to really figure out, are we going to be consumers of technology, or are we going to be engineers of technology? You don't have to be a computer scientist to understand that we need to be engineers of the next generation of what leadership looks like, what entrepreneurship looks like, and what community looks like. Because what I've seen with every wave, and I've been at it for a long time, is that innovation, political waves, technology waves will wipe out any effort. And what happens when that wave comes in, and you see how like in a beach, the beach is a great analogy. When you see the wave come in and then you see a calm, you're going to see that 90% of our efforts will be wiped out. The question begins with whatever 10% is left. Is that 10% enough to transform what we're trying to do? And so I would love to see when that wave comes in that it does not wipe out 90% of us, that it wipes out only 50% of us, so that we don't have to start all over again. Because that is really where the effort needs to be. We cannot be wiped out every time we have a new president, every time we have a new mayor, every time we have a new president of an organization, every time we have a new something. The work that we did starts all over again. And this is why women tap out. STEM. The average woman taps out of STEM at 35 years old. The average woman gets out of the market at 35 years old. I'm 53, and sometimes I feel like I'm 83 still at it. It's exhausting. So the next generation of women need to understand that we have to stop starting all over again. And we have to build stronger foundations so that we're not wiped out. And so women need to be technology literate, because I don't believe that's going to change. Women need to have careers in different industries. We need to make sure that we are very intentional. We need to make sure that if you're at the table, that you have a strategic plan for yourself, because we only have so much time. We need to make sure as mothers, especially if we have daughters, it's okay that we want to empower our daughters, but we need more daughters that were raised like her. You don't need more daughters that were raised like me. And feminism is not about not working with women. I want to tell you that the biggest opportunities I've had have been men. I raised 3 sons, so I'm surrounded by men in my industry. So it's how do we work with men also, right? And then how do we, again, leverage technology outside of being consumers? Think about it. If you look at TikTok, and you look at anything, women are the number one consumer when it comes to beauty products, but women are not invested in women. Ask me how many women are my clients. 0. Ask me how many women ask me today, what is it that you do today, Jamie? How can I hire you? 0. But if I were selling lipsticks today, I would have been sold out. So we have to be a little bit more intentional, and I don't want to see another generation that gets wiped out by a new mayor, a new governor, a new president, even in this organization. You need to understand that every time we start all over again, it takes us back years, generations. And so that's one thing that I'm looking forward to the women in the audience and the women online, the new generation. Understand that we cannot be wiped out every time new leadership comes in.
Thank you so much. Well said. Yes, thank you so much. So I think systemically, I think we should start with the family. I think we have to invest in our female, our daughters, and teach our sons that you are all equal. The opportunities for you is there for her as well. And to support women and to grow women into strong women that are able to say their minds, do what they can do, and to be lifelong learners. I think instead of external, I do know the external really helps a lot, and we need to do away with a lot of like that boy club, the men's club. But I think that it also has to be where we ourselves, we women have to be the best version of ourselves, and that does not mean a new lipstick. It means more than that. We have to be lifelong learners. As Janie mentioned, we have to learn what technology is. We have to get ahead of that, even not in a catch-up mode, so that we will be able to be marketable. We will be able to compete in what seems to be right now is environment where we have to kind of double our efforts in order to be recognized. So I know we have a lot of those that needed to be done, but I think it also starts with ourselves. So look at that self you see in the mirror every day and say, I am worth to be here. My truth is important, and I can speak out, and I want to be the best version of myself. Because realizing that we all have different gifts, you know, things that you can do, I can do, and probably you can do the things that I can do, and we can certainly be as hyper as Nicolette and so energetic that, you know, when I just look at her, I feel like my energy level just goes out like 120%.
She needs to be my AI agent every morning to get me all perked up.
But be the best version of yourself and believe in yourself that you have the right to be here and your truth needs to be spoken out.
Can we get a round of applause for that? I hope as many of the folks in the room, and of course virtually, felt like they also felt seen in hearing your stories, both of you. I would be remiss if I didn't share that as much as we invest in those folks, remember, we're all doing this hard work. We should lend a hand to another woman or someone else to help teach them to do this, right? I joke around that I'm the only Filipina in my family that didn't become a nurse. And my mom reminds me that every day. And to the point of when I graduated with my bachelor's, I walked off the stage and my mom still asked me, Nick, do you want to be a nurse? So thank you, Mom, for not pushing me to still be a nurse today. I wanna highlight that, you know, as we wrap up today's conversation, the common thread again is that leadership isn't just a title that we inherit or something kind of that we fall into. It's a culture we build together. And we wouldn't do that alone, right? As women, we do look to one another to help lift each other up. We began by discussing the technical skills that kind of get us through the door, but we ended by honoring the wisdom that we learned the hard way and the resilience forged through breaking systemic barriers and the essential boundaries we set to protect our purpose. To our incredible panelists, thank you so much for your vulnerability and for sharing your blueprints for the future. To everyone in this room, and of course virtually, remember that you are the architects of the leadership pipeline we discussed today. Redesigning that future starts with the lessons we share and the ways we support one another. So I challenge you, don't just leave these ideas in the room. Take one habit for your well-being or one insight on mentorship and put it into practice today, not tomorrow. Don't wait for tomorrow. And let's leave here today not only just inspired, but ready to lead with both professional excellence and our shared humanity. Thank you all for being a part of this movement, and we look forward to seeing what you do next. Thank you.
Thank you to our wonderful speakers today. Thank you all for joining us. We have a video message for you now.
Hi, my name is Genesis Gavino, and I'm honored to celebrate Women's History Month with the Philippine American Chamber of Commerce in Texas. As a child of immigrants, my passion for public service was shaped by watching my family and our community work hard to build opportunity while staying deeply connected to our cultural roots. Organizations like the Philippine American Chamber of Commerce in Texas play such an important role in uplifting Filipino American voices, supporting entrepreneurs, and strengthening the connections between culture, leadership, and community. This month reminds us that when women lead with purpose and lift each other up, we create pathways for the next generation. Salamat for the work you do to inspire change.
Hello from Baguio City, Philippines. Congratulations to PACCTX and to my good friend Attorney Eileen for celebrating women inspiring change. I had the honor and privilege of joining last year, and this year I look forward to inspiring stories of women empowering women. In light of so many challenges we are facing today, it is indeed encouraging to know that PACCTX has initiatives that continually promote networking, business programs, community engagement, and women empowerment, among others. Looking forward to more events and to a future collaboration between PACCTX and SEC Philippines for these advocacies, as well as for capital market promotion and investor protection. Happy International Women's Month, and keep safe and healthy, everyone.
Today, we celebrate a force that has shaped history. Women who rise, women who lead. A woman's voice can move a family and transform a community. When we step into our strength, barriers break and possibilities expand. So let this month be a declaration. Women will lead with courage, speak with conviction, and rise with purpose. Because when women rise, the whole world rises with us.
Hi everyone, I'm Jen Calazo, President of FYP ATX, the Filipino Young Professionals of Austin, Texas. My journey to this role didn't start in the nonprofit world, it started in the corporate one. For years, I've worked as a project manager. I spent my days managing scope, timelines, and stakeholders, but eventually I realized that those same work-life skills, the ability to organize, strategize, and execute, were the exact tools I needed to build something for my community. I took what I learned and used it to establish FYP ATX as a formal 501c3 nonprofit. We moved from a social group to a mission-driven organization, launching initiatives like our 2nd annual Leadership Summit this May and 5th annual Filipino Day Market, ATX, in October. These flagship events ensures our heritage and our professional growth move forward together. For me, leadership is simply taking the expertise you already have and using it to empower others. When we lead with that kind of intention, we create a legacy that lasts. With that, thank you so much to the Chamber for highlighting women who are lifting our community as they break ceilings. Salamat.
Hello, my name is Noni Cabana. I'm the current president of the Organization of Filipinos in Texas and the founder of the USS Telesporter through that campaign. Today we're celebrating women, inspiring change. This Women's Month, I celebrate the women who have shaped my life and those I have had the privilege to serve alongside in our community. My first role model is my mother, now 96 years old. From her, I learned resilience, kindness, and compassion, the very foundation of who I am today. My greatest inspiration, however, is my wife Jerry, my soulmate of 50 years. She is my partner, advocate, and mentor, always challenging me to be better, standing beside me through every season, and exemplifying strength with grace. Here in the Alamo City, inspiring women surround us. Leaders like Dr. Melinda Rodriguez, who helped build the sister city bond with Baguio City, Philippines, and Dr. Danet Lapis Bloom, recognized among San Antonio's top women who continue to uplift our community. Today, we celebrate women, not only for what they achieve, but for how they inspire all of us to become better. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Tony Sensei Carpio, Director of Community Affairs for Filipino Young Professionals of Austin and manager of the Austin Filipino Cultural Dance Troupe. My journey is rooted in a deep passion for culture, community, and service, inspired by the resilient women who came before me and showed me the power of leading with heart. Today, I serve by building bridges through cultural performances, community partnerships, and spaces that celebrate identity, belonging, and connection. Women's History Month reminds us that when women uplift one another, preserve our stories, and step into leadership, we don't just honor history, we shape the future. Together, we celebrate women and continue inspiring change.
Hello everyone, Dr. Teresa Lau, college professor, San Antonio, Texas. I'd like to dedicate this message to all the women who have paved the way for other women to be successful. This celebration of women should not just be about honoring what we have achieved, but a call to action towards greatness. I'm calling all women to be mentor to others, empower the next generation, to continue to make waves and be recognized for their talents and their skills. Let our positive ideas make a difference and inspire others to follow through. In everything that we do, we need to be positive in our thinking and approach towards others. And remember, when we come together as one, we can transform communities. Thank you.
On behalf of the Philippine Consulate General in Houston, it is my distinct honor to stand alongside the trailblazing women across the state to recognize and celebrate the extraordinary contributions women have made and continue to make across every industry. This celebration honors those who came before us, women of courage and fortitude who pressed forward despite seemingly insurmountable challenges. In honoring them, we also clear the path for those who will come after us. The theme of Women's Month in the United States this year, Leading the Change, Women Shaping a Sustainable Future, underscores the vital role women play in building equitable, environmental, economic, and social systems. In a similar vein, the Philippines observes National Women's Month under the sub-theme, Lead Like the Babaylan's Filipinas. Both themes speak to the same undeniable truth, that women must lean into their strengths of wisdom, empathy, and community or kapwa, and lead with courage and compassion, inspiring the next generation to be architects of change. In pre-colonial Philippines, the Babaylans were spiritual leaders, healers, mediators, and community guides. They were respected figures of wisdom and strength in the community, trusted to make decisions, preserve culture, and protect their people. Leadership was never foreign to women. It was natural. It was honored. It was fundamental. For Filipinos, it is an essential part of their identity. At the 70th session of the Commission on the Status of Women in New York, early this month, Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. reaffirmed the country's commitment to gender equality and women's empowerment, declaring that true progress is measured by the education, safety, and leadership of women. He emphasized that women must be present wherever decisions are made, in government, in business, in science, in diplomacy, and in peace building, because it is when women rise that societies rise with them, and when women lead, nations move forward. The Babaylands led not through force or hierarchy, but through wisdom, empathy, mediation, and moral guidance. And isn't that exactly the kind of leadership the world needs more of today? As we celebrate the journey from the classroom to the C-suite, we are not describing something new. We are reclaiming something ancient. The Filipina has always led. What we are doing in boardrooms, in businesses, in this very room, is the Babaylan spirit alive in the modern world. To every young woman who is still in the classroom, just stepping into her first role, or standing at the threshold of something greater, know this: your origin is not your ceiling. The Babaylans did not wait for permission to lead. Neither should you. And to the trailblazers in this room, the executives, the entrepreneurs, the mentors, thank you. The Babaylan legacy lives on in every Filipina who leads with purpose. Every time you walk into a room and take your seat at the table, you carry that legacy forward, and you hold the door open for every Filipina who comes after you. The Philippine Consulate stands proudly behind the mission of the Philippine American Chamber of Commerce to foster partnership, to champion our community, and to honor the women who drive our shared progress. So today, let us not just celebrate milestones. I urge everyone to answer the call. Lead like the Babaylands Filipinas. Mabuhay ang mga kababaihan. Long live the women who have led the way. Maraming salamat po and Happy Women's Month.
Thank you to everyone who sent us a video message. Now we're going to go to all 5 regions to see what they're going to do for part 2. Who sent us a video message. Now we're going to go to all 5 regions to see what they're going to do for part 2. Who sent us a video message. Now we're going to go to all 5 regions to see what they're going to do for part 2.
All right.
Who sent us a video message.
Hi everyone, Joyce Garcia. We are here in Austin. Say hi everybody. And today we actually have the privilege to hear from Dr. Mona Gam. There she is. She is the current president for the Philippine Nurses Association here in Austin. And afterwards we will have a panel from our distinguished speakers. We have Miss Maricruz Faviera. She was a former president of the Filipino Young Professionals, sorry. And also the CEO of Your Fairy Job Mother as a career coach. We also have our very own Rella Manigsaka, who is a realtor and was kind enough to let us use her office here at Realty Austin. Beautiful. So we're going to be tagging Realty Austin. And last but not least, our final panelist is Annie Manigsaka. Oh, sorry. I'm confusing Annie Montaring. You know when you have like 2 kids, you're always calling them. Anyway, yes. Montaring, and she is a brand partner for USANA Health Sciences. So we're excited to have all this after we eat lunch. Thank you.
Hey guys. Hey guys. So we're here in San Antonio. We have Chef Michael here.
Woohoo!
She
Lumpia, my
favorite best lumpia in San Antonio.
Yeah, 2026!
It's a madhouse here. We have our food. Our food is coming. I just served our food. This is the Sutokyo menu. We have supa. We have grilled items. Tuwa is stewed items. Kiloan is raw items. We have them all here. And we have our panelists coming out with Genevieve Sansi coming out. Okay. Yeah.
Once again, I would like to thank our host, Senate Gaster here in McAllen, Lord Freedom. And then we have also with us our two speakers, Attorney Ileana Villalobos. How do you feel?
Hello, this is from Houston. How are you? Today we're going to have 3 simultaneous activities. We have Tai Chi. Go, Master. We also have our baby sessions. There you go. This is Teacher Lawin. He is going to teach us about.
Okay, so we're going to talk about portraits today, and we will be doing abstract portrait.
Okay. Okay. What's happening? We are going to do helping demo. So what are we gonna do today?
Today we're gonna make some hummus.
Okay, show us how we're gonna do with this one. I need to learn this. I don't know how to post.
So what we're gonna do is we have our chickpeas. Right?
Yes.
Okay, we have our chickpeas.
So we have our cumin.
Wow.
And you can adjust. And then if you like it strong, you have more garlic. This garlic, just 1 piece of garlic is enough. And if you like it stronger, you can. Got lemon. And a couple tablespoons, good. And then we have our olive oil. Yeah. What's your cholesterol? Sorry. Something.
Healthy goodness.
Yeah. Then there's a little salt.
Then there's a little salt. That's how chefs do. No need to. I don't measure.
Thank you so much to everyone who joined us today. Enjoy Women's History Month and your Celebrating Women Inspiring Change event. Have a great day.